So, the Chargers have signed a new kicker in veteran Dustin Hopkins, recently with the Washington football team, and that means Tristian Vizcaino has now been waived from the team. So Dustin Hopkins, an 8-year veteran coming out of the Washington football team. He's been there since 2015. He boasts an 84% field goal percentage, and in his career he's 179 from 190 with extra points. Now obviously we know the struggles that Vizcaino's had this season. He's actually not been too bad with field goals, 7 attempts, he's only missed one of them, longest only from 46 though, but it's the extra points where he's really struggled. He's missed 4 this season, and in terms of field goal attempts, he hasn't actually had one in the last few weeks, but I think it's that the difficulty he's having with the extra points as to why Staley's been forced to move on from him. Now, I would just point out of Dustin Hopkins, it hasn't been an easy year for him either. Obviously, he's just lost his place after many years at the Washington football team to a guy called Chris Blewett. Interesting name for a kicker there. But he's also had his struggles with extra points, missing 2 extra points against Atlanta, well, in Atlanta, so inside. So he is having struggles as well this year. But I'm sure Staley's thinking bringing in a veteran player to the position might be the way to go moving forward. So I don't know what your thoughts on Vizcaino were, let me know in the comments below, but it seemed very much in the last few weeks that we didn't even want him to be attempting field goals. I know the Browns game kind of went away from kicking at all really, but that game against the Raiders, I wondered why we went for that fake field goal late on. We were obviously up by a couple of touchdowns, but it seemed we didn't want even to let him attempt that kind of 50-yard plus field goal. And then that extra point against the Ravens, he looked so out of sorts with that kick. Obviously a kicker comes into the game, you just want him to kick the extra point. He didn't even make the back net with that extra point attempt, and obviously the Chargers have been looking ever since at potential replacements. Now in terms of statistics for extra points this season, both Hopkins and Vizcaino really struggling. I think there's 18 kickers at 100% on extra points, obviously including former Chargers such as Chase McLaughlin and Young Ho Koo, who was obviously rumoured about us maybe making a trade to get him back after that terrible start to his career he had with us back when we had him in the 2017 season. But Vizcaino is down in 37th for extra points this season. Hopkins not much better, down in 31 of kickers for extra points this season. And as we all know, Chargers fans, it's been a real struggle at the kicker position. It seems it's cursed for Chargers to stick on that jersey for the Chargers as a kicker in the last few seasons, and no doubt Tristian Vizcaino will probably go off, get signed by someone else, turn into like the league's best kicker, and probably end up in the Hall of Fame or something like that. But it wasn't always the way back in the Nate Kading days, back when I started watching the Chargers from the 2004 to 2010 season. Such a good kicker for us. He only actually missed 2 extra points in all of those 7 seasons for the Chargers. Obviously Hopkins has missed that many this season. Vizcaino's missed 2 times that many this season, but obviously people will say to me that the distance for the extra point changed from back in the Kading days to now. It was sort of 20 yards back in the day and it's 33 yards now, but I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. I think that any kicker inside 35 yards has to be making those kind of distances, and I do like to see a kicker who can go over 50 yards. It makes such a big difference later on in the games where it's all about yardage and the clock and whatnot, and the difference between having to get the ball down to say the 30-yard line as opposed to maybe like the 38-yard line can make all the difference in the big games. And as we know, teams such as the Vikings and Bears will tell us how important it is to have your kicker right going into the playoffs, because both those teams in recent years have really been caught out by not having a kicker good enough to take them further into the playoffs. So on to the Patriots this weekend, and obviously the run defence is going to be a big thing that Chargers fans are looking at this season. Hopefully Drew Tranquill, Kenneth Murray are back this week, or if not very soon, and I think that will certainly help with us stopping the run. Obviously, after the performance against the Ravens, we want to see our offense back to how it was in the first few weeks, and let's hope that there's no repeats of last season with that dreadful performance, mainly due to special teams mistakes as well, but everything was awful in that loss to the Patriots last season. Bit of a revenge game for us, and let's see if we can get ourselves to 5-2. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new here, subscribe for more. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it, and I'll see you in the next one.